It's a wonderful day in the homiehood, a wonderful day for a homie. Won't you be my homie to Taro?
Marit Stiles, the NDP MPP for Davenport, is set to become the new leader of the party after running unopposed in the race to replace Andrea Horvath. Joining me now to talk about her vision for the party live is Marit Stiles. Congrats, Marit, and thanks so much for joining us.
One thing that is a bit concerning with this also is that they have yet to release the numbers for the quote unquote election. So I've seen quite a few people complaining about this on Twitter, is that for some reason the Ontario NDP is sitting on the numbers. It's just like, we just want to know what the voter turnout, like, did they inspire people to vote? Or maybe not so much, because this was a, inauguration for the ONDP.
This morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, and it's a huge accomplishment. It is one that everyone has been watching here as the official opposition. However, with this role going uncontested, there has been that angle that the PCs and the Liberals have brought up, that the fact no one else threw their hat in the ring signals a lack of energy within the party. What do you make of it?
Well, look, I mean, I've been running a strong campaign since September for the leadership, and lots of my colleagues, existing MPPs in the NDP official
The audio once again is bad.
opposition, looked at whether or not to run, decided not to. I'm not the first party leader out there across this country to be acclaimed, and I'm proud of it. I think.
Yeah, the other was an NDP leader in BC, which was even more awkward and worse. I guess are they saying acclaimed? They're the NDP, not people with a microphone budget. At least get one mic for the leader, okay?
I think it shows a lot of unity in our party. My caucus is united behind me, and also we're very focused right now on the work that needs to get done in the real race, which is to defeat Doug.
Yeah, a good mic costs $50. You could even just a pair of headphones even would probably fix this.
And to limit the damage that he can do to this province.
So what will be your first order of business as the official opposition once that confirmation vote is confirmed and goes through? What is your first official item on your agenda as the leader of the opposition?
Well, absolutely. The first item on my agenda is to stand up at Queen's Park when the House returns in February and take on Doug Ford. But I want to do more than just push back, because we have had a lot of success, right? We saw the government.
Yeah, she's like, my laptop has a built-in mic. No need for more mics. Yeah, exactly. That honestly was probably part of the logic. To be fair, this could be breakfast television's fault as well. I don't know what's going on with this crackly audio.
Push back on their heels over Bill 28, and the courts again overturning yet another bill where they tried to freeze wages of lower income people. And so we're pushing back very effectively as a province. But I also want to get out there and propose solutions to people. I want to convince people and remind them that our province does not have to be like this, right? It's not normal and it's not acceptable that our hospitals are unable to keep up, that people are waiting 10 to 20 hours in emergency rooms, or that our kids are in classrooms of 40 plus students and that our littlest ones aren't getting the support that they need. This is a problem. It's a crisis in healthcare for sure, and coming in education. And I want to make sure that people understand that we could do so much better than this. And so for me, that's the next item on my agenda.
Now, we know that there was low voter turnout this election, but the Conservatives did win with a very impressive majority. How do you plan for the next 4 years to work with the Conservatives in order to further the party's agenda?
Mm-hmm. Well, I will say, I think that one of the reasons I decided to run to be the leader of the official opposition NDP is because of that low voter turnout. I found that really disturbing, and I think a lot of Ontarians did. And I looked at it a lot over the last few months and thought, the reason that people didn't vote largely is because, again, they've been kind of told this is as good as it gets. And I think their vote has been taken for granted for so long. And we need to change that. So I will always be willing to work with the government to get good things done for this province. But I'm also going to be willing to tell them when I think things they're doing are not helpful. And I'm going to propose alternatives. And when you look at what's happening, for example, with the Greenbelt, a lot of people who voted Conservative in this province in the last election, I think, have a bit of buyer's remorse right now because the greenbelt, the paving over of wetlands, important ecosystems, but also the selling off of this farmland to a few people who are going to benefit a lot and get very wealthy from it. Something just doesn't smell right about that. And so I'm continuing to urge the government to reverse this decision, and we'll keep pushing real hard on that.
Okay, and for some viewers here in Toronto, we are very familiar with you being an MPP here in the riding of Davenport. But for others who may be watching around Ontario, what would you like to say to them about you? What do you want them to know about you?
Well, I'll tell you, I was born and raised in Newfoundland. I came to Ontario because I went to school.
She likes taking this line. She's been talking a lot about being from Newfoundland, which I don't know if it's something I guess they've thought about. I didn't know before this inauguration era or whatever that she was from Newfoundland. But is it something to just like make her a bit more of an outsider? I think there's going to be the accusations, I guess, that maybe she's like a Toronto like elitist, so she's trying to appear more as an outsider and be like, nope, I'm actually a newfie. It's like, okay.
Here at university, and then I stayed like so many people who come to Ontario and Toronto because of jobs and opportunities, and because you could imagine raising a family here and having great healthcare and great education and buying a home, and I think a lot has changed since then. But in every day and every time I travel around this province, which I've been doing a lot of over the last few months, I'm blown away. We have an incredible province. We have great people here, people who aspire to more for their kids, but for other people's kids too. And that's what gets me up in the morning, and it always has. And I'm really looking forward to doing the work, the really important work to represent so many people in this province over the next few years.
All right, and we will be watching. All right, thanks very much, Marit Stiles. Once again, we really appreciate your time and joining us today.
So I guess my criticism is that I want her to be firing on all cylinders about how bad Doug Ford is. I feel like that is really like their path to victory, especially like right now. Maybe come election time, you want to be focusing more on the positive, but she should be just driving home. I want her to sound like Pierre Poilievre sounds when he's criticizing Trudeau over like literally like, the wind could be blowing the wrong way, and it'd be Trudeau's fault. But Doug Ford is actually doing like really, really bad things. So it is. I would like to hear her be like angry and be like, that's what wakes me up in the morning is like fighting Doug Ford. She has a sunny outlook. Andrea was so angry all the time. Fair. And I mean, maybe that, I guess I don't mind the anger though, but I mean, maybe that is part of their calculation that it may not resonate with voters the way that this sunny outlook does. Maybe they've made that calculation. Personally, I'm all in on like let's dunk on Ford, So all right, we also got CTV news here. You prefer politicians who speak about their visions instead of trashing the incumbents. Okay, well, that I think, yeah, there is a lot of that sentiment across Canada, but in this age of social media, I do wonder if like dunking on Doug Ford would also be something that's popular. When you're angry all the time, the message gets lost to people and people tune out. Okay, well then my question for you is, what was the message? What was the message here from Marit Stiles? Like, what was the main kind of takeaway? What is she gonna do? I don't really know if anything like stood out in what she's saying here. Like, because I mean, part of it is like she doesn't really have any power to do anything. We're faced with a majority conservative government, right? So maybe it's the kill 'em with kindness approach. It definitely seems that way. I guess there is also, I think, the whole like angry woman stereotype that politicians have to face. I guess it's not fair, and they're probably also making that calculation. So Let's see what
The Ontario
CTV News
NDP
has to
officially
say.
introduced their new leader today.
In her acceptance speech, Marit Stiles says her primary focus is to defeat the Conservatives in the next provincial election.
All right, that is their focus, is to defeat the Conservatives, but to not be too critical of them. I don't know. I hope we see an Idle No More protest to all of Ford's Greenbelt assault. That would be really nice. I feel like that is unfortunately where we're going to need to win. Since we can't win in Parliament, we're going to have to win on the streets. They're once again playing this copyright music.
It's a coming out party for Marit Stiles. After 5 years as a new Democrat member of provincial parliament, she's now taking over as party leader in Ontario.
Our party was founded by a coalition of labor, farmers, progressives coming together to challenge the old establishment parties and build that new political power. Those are our roots.
Stiles
I want that good quality video. I want that good audio quality. Listen to how good it sounds. How come we can't get that?
steps into the top spot after being the only candidate to run for the job. An MPP for the Davenport riding, she served for years as the party's education critic and has previously been a school trustee and president of the federal NDP.
Canadians, as Marit said, should demand more of their leaders, should expect more from government. We can build a better place where it's easier to find a life that's affordable. That can be done, and people should be demanding that of their leaders. Marit's someone who can deliver.
Stiles takes over from interim leader Peter Tabuns, who stepped in after Andrea Horwath resigned in June. In a tweet, Premier Doug Ford congratulated Stiles on her confirmation, saying, "Ontario is an amazing place with limitless potential. I look forward to working with you and all of Team Ontario as we build our future."
I really
As the
hate Doug Ford's like rhetoric. He's like, with unlimited potential. What he means by that is like we can exploit the environment like limitlessly if we just remove these greenbelt protections.
future. As the official opposition in the Ontario legislature, the NDP's newly minted leader wasted no time going on the offensive against the Conservative government.
No matter how many hard hats or safety vests he puts on for a photo op, you better believe Doug Ford is no friend to workers.
And it's that type of messaging Stiles will continue touting as she attempts to defeat the Premier in the next provincial election, with voters likely heading to the ballot boxes in 2026.
I like that they're wearing masks too. I'm worried. So a lot of these NDP events, they're not wearing masks. So, I mean, I think that is a good line of reasoning. Chat, you're probably right. Maybe she doesn't have to be firing on all cylinders. Just a couple cylinders is okay. And, I can only speak for myself and like what I want to see. I guess I want to see the more cutthroat blood sport politics, but you're probably right, chat. Better to be the sunny outlook, positive campaign. And I guess we'll find out when there is an election, like how this all manifests. I'm hoping the best for Marit Stiles. Even though I'm not an NDP supporter, or I'm left of the NDP. I've obviously voted for them in the past because I am a lefty and there's not really any other options. So I am hoping for them to succeed, and I'm pretty tired of Doug Ford. So wishing Marit Stiles the best of luck.